Hello, this is exercise 7 of Java programming, and this is exception handling. In this, the first program is to create a class called represent a class called employee with employee ID, name, age as attributes. In the main class, we have to create an employee object by getting the employee ID, name, age input, and we have to check for the following constraints. And we have to throw the custom exceptions created by ourselves. So, if the employee ID is below 4 digits, we have to throw an employee ID exception. If the name is a number, we have to throw invalid name exception. If the age is greater than 50, we have to throw an invalid age exception, or else we have to create the created for the entire data details. So let's see this program. So here I have created 4 different classes, which all of them extends the class exception, which is exception. Inside inside these classes, I have created a constructor which which prints the specific exception. For invalid employee exception, I have printed out the message as invalid employee exception. For invalid name exception, I have printed out invalid name exception. Similarly, for the other 2 classes, I have done the same. Now I have created a class called main class called employee, which has the following data members: age, employee ID, and name. I have created a constructor which accepts a string x, string y, and int z, and I have assigned the values to the data members. Now in the public class first, I have created the functions which check ID, check name, check age. These three constraints are checked, and in all these functions throws an exception. The check ID throws an exception of invalid employee ID exception. The check name throws an exception of invalid name exception, and the check age throws an invalid age exception. Inside the check ID, I have checked if the length n.length is less than 4, then throw new invalid employee ID exception. Inside the name, I have checked if the character is a digit. If it's a digit, then throw the error. Inside the age, I have checked if n is greater than 50, then throw invalid age exception. Inside the main function, I have created an object of the class first, and I have asked the user to enter the employee ID, to enter the employee name, and employee age. Then I have, using a try catch, I have tried and checked ob.checkID, and I have thrown the error. I have checked ob.checkName and ob.checkAge, and for each of them I have thrown a error. Finally, if no error, then I have created an employee ID. So let's run and see this. So it's asking for an employee ID. So let's give 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I try to give the name as a digit 1, 2, and if I give as age as 12, now we can see we are getting an invalid name exception. So because name is a number, so our program which is it's throwing an error. So what we have done is correct. So the second program is to create an queue by using the interface, and create custom exceptions to deal the following situation. A non-integer value is encountered in the queue, and insert operation, during an insert the queue is full, and during a remove option the queue is empty. We are doing so let's check its program. So here I have created an interface queue in which I have 3 functions: enqueue, dequeue, and display. The enqueue and dequeue throws an error queue. Inside the class queue, which extends exception and it implements queue, I have created the variables n equal to 3, array, front equal to 1, and rear equal to -1. Front and rear both equal to -1. Then I have created a constructor a scanner s equal to new scanner system.in. Then I printed enter the size of queue, int n equals to next. Then I have created another constructor which accepts a string as an argument, and I have called the super constructor. Now in the public void dequeue function, I have checked if rear equal to -1, then throw new queue and print queue is empty. Else if front equal to rear, then front equal to rear equal to -1. Else front equals to front plus 1. In the public void enqueue function, I have asked the user to enter the element to insert, and I have stored it in an variable item, and I have checked if rare equals to n minus 1, then throw a new error called queue and say queue is full. Else if front equals to minus 1, then front and rare both become 0 and AR of front equal to item. Else rare equal to rare plus 1 and AR of rare equal to item. Finally, I have created a display function. This displays the array. Inside the main function, I have created an object of the class queue and two objects, object obj and obj1, and using the do while loop, I have given the options to the user to insert, display or delete, and I have asked the user to enter his or her choice. Then using the switch case statement, the switch I have given the ch equal if ch equal to 1, then I have called the obj.enqueue function. If it equal to 2, then I have called obj.to obj.display, else I have called obj.dequeue. So this will implement our queue. So let's run the program. So it's asking to enter, say let's enter the size as 3. First let's try to delete something. So it says as queue is empty. Again, now let's insert something. So let's insert 4. Now insert again 5, 6. Now if we try again to enter another element, it says queue is full. So our exception handling is working correctly. Thank you.